everyone, I'm Heather. Welcome back to my week-by-week pregnancy journal. If this is your first time here, I'm going to be talking about everything that happened during week 30 of my first pregnancy. Check out the description area for a quick breakdown of this video if you just want to skip around to a certain topic or check how my bump is progressing. So how big is the baby this week? It's about the size of a cabbage, which is about 15.7 inches. That seems pretty big for a cabbage. Doesn't it?
It does.
But whatever, that's what all of the internet is saying. And about 3 pounds. So at this point, he's going to be packing on about a half a pound per week for the next 7 weeks. So 7 times a half. So that should be about another 3 or 4 pounds, I think. Symptoms that I've noticed this week. I've noticed that when my belly contracts, because I'm still occasionally having the Braxton Hicks, things I said in like the past videos, I think it just continues and it just becomes normal, so I don't mention it again. But yeah, Braxton Hicks contractions happen, and it happens when I'm walking, and I feel like when I am walking, I waddle because of it, because it's uncomfortable kind of. It's just very tight, and I just feel my hips swing in a different way, and I don't want to be that person that's waddling down the walkway. So I asked my husband the other day, we were out in the parking lot, and I was like, am I waddling? Because it happened, and what'd you say?
Oh, a little bit.
Did I look like I was
That's
waddling?
when you were telling me about the waddle.
But did I look like I was waddling?
A little bit. Nothing too crazy.
I'm pregnant, so it's okay. I also noticed that my nails are growing like crazy. I don't know if it's just I cut them for once and didn't like peel them off or bite them off, which is gross because I never bite my nails. But maybe I was getting in the habit of biting them because they're just growing like crazy. But I like manicured them because I don't even know why. Probably for the baby shower. I manicured my nails for the baby shower just by myself at home, and then from there on they've just grown like crazy. Also just crazy fatigue after my 8-hour work day, which I go to work, I wake up about 5:45 the latest. That's like when I have to get my butt out of bed, and then I don't get home until after 4 o'clock usually. Sometimes later, like 5:30. Latest probably is 6 if I'm having a really bad day, and by that point I am just tired. Like I just need to crash in the bed and lay down, and sometimes I don't get up, and that's it for me for the night. Acid reflux and heartburn. So supposedly the same hormones that are responsible for heartburn are the same hormones that are responsible for fetal hair growth. So I think that's where it comes from when people say, oh, you're having crazy heartburn, your baby's gonna have a ton of hair. I can't wait to see if the baby does have a ton of hair. Why are you looking like that?
They say that?
What?
That's weird.
That if you have heartburn, it means you're having a lot of hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've
like
never
a
heard
hairy
of that?
body?
Like a hairy baby.
Like hairy baby, like hair on its back and stuff?
Like little Sasquatch.
It's gonna come out like a ginger orangutan. Because your heartburn is through the roof. It's gonna come out like a little ginger monkey. Wow.
Can you imagine?
I'm learning a lot today.
It's gonna be a flaming redhead body too. I guess the whole thing is gonna be covered in hair because it's horrible. It's like a volcano in my chest. But I've just learned to deal with it and sleep on my pillows that I told you guys about with the incline, and my my fort around me, my pregnancy pillow.
Yep, and I have to deal with it too.
But I'm very curious if that I always thought it was just like an old wives' tale, but now I read somewhere that hormones and it's responsible, blah, 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 whatever I just said. So we shall see. I didn't really have that much hair on my head when I was a baby, and I don't think my husband did either. But maybe it's just because you're like redhead. Did your mom have indigestion?
I don't know. I'll shave his back with a razor.
He's not gonna have a hairy back. My husband doesn't have a hairy back, so I don't.
I'm not hairy.
This week it's just harder to get comfortable sleeping. Switching my hips and flopping side to side. It's just not as easy as it was a few weeks prior. Cravings this week. I have to say cannoli dip, because the pool party that we went to at the end of last week, we ended up bringing cannoli dip tray. At the supermarket that we live near, they have a little tray and it's a whole case of cannoli dip, and then around it is just cannoli chips. So we brought that there, and the hosts of the house didn't want me to leave it there. They really pushed it back on me, and I was like, oh, I'll just bring it to work. And it didn't go anywhere past our fridge and my belly. And then 4 days later, my husband went to go have some, and he said, where did it all go? And I said, I don't know. So I must have been craving it because I ate it like every day.
You did eat it all. I threw it out today too.
You threw it out?
Yeah.
I could have scraped it.
You would have scraped it, you psycho.
You really got rid of it?
Yeah.
Other cravings, watermelon, cold watermelon. Anything that I eat like fruit-wise, it just needs to be really cold. I don't know if that's a pregnancy thing, but I'm enjoying everything that's cold. Maybe it's the weather too, the warm weather. Corn on the cob, I like corn on the cob. Butter and Old Bay. It's like the blue claw crabs that I can't have. Weight gain, I have gained about 18 pounds since the start of pregnancy, and I 100% get out of bed like a pregnant person now. It's not just standing up out of bed like normal. I can't even explain it. I have my husband help me up sometimes. It might have to do with the back pains from where, like the position I'm sleeping in. Maybe my back's tweaked and then my belly, and it's just like and you just gotta, right? Kind of.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Kind of squeeze yourself off the end and then stand up and adjust.
Yeah.
As you walk to the bathroom to pee for the millionth time. Things we did this week, we had our OB appointment. So this was the first one that was 2 weeks after the last. So this was the transition from going every 4 weeks to now we're going to see the OB every 2 weeks. She measured my fundal height, which is from the pelvic bone to the top of the uterus, and that measured actually 31 weeks, which she said was okay because I'm actually 30 weeks when I saw her, 30 something. Also, she did an internal exam because in my previous videos I talked to you about how we had a bleeding episode. That was comforting that she addressed that right away. I don't think it was documented in their notes because when we had the issue, we were directed to whatever midwife was on call and she was at the hospital. So it wasn't written in the notes. So if something like that does happen to you, make sure to bring it up again at your next OB appointment. If it resolves and then time goes by, then you follow up with them again. Just retell them, make sure that it's documented, keep track of what date it happened. Because of that, she said we're going to do an internal exam, and because you had the bleeding, you can have another ultrasound. We were kind of giddy about that because we thought ultrasounds were over. And we even talked about it and we said we're not going to get any ultrasounds more than necessary because I know sometimes people do them electively just to see the baby's face because it's been a while and you're nervous. So she said before she did the internal exam that we would be able to do that. So we thought about it as this was going on. My husband was there with me, and it would be called a growth ultrasound to check the babies to see if they're growing correctly. Anyway, long story short, she did the internal exam. I let her know that I have not had any noticeable odor changes or changes in my discharge that I can see with color, consistency, or anything. So she did go in and she opened me up with the speculum, said that my cervix was engorged, which is normal for pregnancy, and then she swabbed the mucus around the cervix, thought that she saw a slight discoloration, which she decided to say was what they call BV. So that's a bacterial vaginosis, and some women have it and they don't even realize that they have it, and if you're not pregnant, it can go untreated. But since I am pregnant and she was questioning whether there was a discolor in my discharge, that she would treat me anyway for that because it can cause issues with preterm labor and it can contribute to bleeding if you have an infection. So she put me on Flagyl, which is an antibiotic, and that was 7 days. I took it by mouth twice a day. So I would take one in the morning and one in the evening. It made me look into it more as to like why and how it would have happened to get this BV. And from what I researched, it says that, your normal flora, which is the normal bacteria that's in that area. So the good bacteria, if that level drops, it allows room for the bad bacteria to grow, and it could be related to intercourse, semen. I read it even could be related to washing down there with soap, and if soap gets in there, what they would say is douching. I don't do that, but cleaning that area too well takes away the good bacteria, and then it allows bad bacteria to grow. But again, I have no odor, no noticeable discharge. It was something that if we didn't have the bleeding episode and she didn't do an internal exam, I would have never even known was there, causing an issue. So our plan is to treat it, and now we get another ultrasound out of it. She gave us the choice of we could do it at our next 2-week follow-up or 2 weeks after that, so it would be 4 weeks from then. We asked her if she recommended one over the other, and she said it really doesn't matter, which actually made me feel good, because if something was significantly wrong or she felt worrisome about something, I feel like she would have said, why don't you do it at the 2-week? But since she really didn't suggest anything, that made us feel more comfortable. Just so happened when I was laying down before she did the internal, and that's when she was offering us this ultrasound, she had just got done listening to the fetal heart rate with the Doppler. So right away I asked, well, why are you asking me if I need an ultrasound? Is the heart rate okay? Like, does everything sound okay? And she said, oh yeah, like everything sounds great. So that was reassuring, and yeah, now I'm blabbing. So yeah, being treated with antibiotics, having an ultrasound in 2 weeks, which is very exciting, and I can't wait. I hope to see his face. I know that at this point the babies are getting bigger, so their hands might be, you know, covering their face during that, but I hope he cooperates, and I hope, number one, that all the growth for the baby at this point is on point, and I get to see his little face. And I don't know if this would be weird to say, but my husband was sitting at the end of my table when my feet were in the stirrups, and she was looking at my cervix, and I guess she could just tell by, you know, they could just tell by your personalities and how you interact together. And he was just sitting there, and I tell him everything. I teach him as much as I can, especially about, like, you know, the body and things that he wouldn't know because he's not a nurse or, you know, not interested. But she pulled him over and said, oh, you want to look at her cervix? So he saw my cervix. We are very tight. My husband and I.
Up close and personal.
He saw my cervix all open up and everything. So, yeah, at least he knows what he's poking.
Oh, God.
This week also, I hit my belly with a door. I opened up a door, and I guess I'm just not used to the size of it, and just pulled the door open and hit my belly. And it was hard enough that it made him wiggle around, and it was kind of painful on the top, but I think he's okay. Just give him a little jolt. I also did a yoga class with a friend. I know I've been saying that I wanted to do prenatal yoga and just haven't gotten around to it. It was actually a regular yoga class at my gym. The instructor was awesome. She noticed I was pregnant right away. Well, she came up to us to introduce herself, to say, you know, I've noticed that you're a new face in the class. And right away, I was like, I'm 30 weeks pregnant. And just said, don't do too much of the twisting, but the class that she was doing was more balance. So we weren't gonna get into like super crazy positioning. I was surprised with myself. I could still stand on one leg, grab my toe, and hold my leg out straight and balance like that. The only thing that really felt uncomfortable was doing the plank position. I haven't engaged my core like that in a while, and it just felt weird. So she gave me a different way to do it, which was just to keep my knees on the ground. I kind of like alternated my knees up and held somewhat of a plank. And then this week my husband and I went to Homegoods. I had some gift cards to use, and we also knew that that's where we wanted to go to get some baskets for the baby's room and search for a hamper. So we found all of that, and it all kind of matches. It's like, it's different, but it goes together. So we got like a white basket, and then we got some brown woven baskets, and the hamper is like white.
When you show it, just bring it in.
I'll just show it. So this is the hamper that we got. It's just like a metal hamper. It was $20, and it's got this insert in here that just pulls right out. So it's kind of easy. It's what I need. Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that's the hamper that we got for the baby's room. So this is one of the baskets. I think it's cute. It goes with our nautical theme. So it's white, and it's got these knots. They kind of look like nautical knots. This one was only $16.99. And then we got two baskets like this. This one was $15. And this one's already the start of his little toy bin. But it's cute. It kind of goes, and it gives that brown accent to the room. And last but not least, we got this guy, because my husband fell in love. And when you see love on the face of your husband, you have to say yes. So for $40, this came home with us. And it's gonna be the baby's favorite thing.
That's cute. We could tickle him with it. play with it, sits on the floor.
Yep, it does all that stuff.
Big pillow.
Just like a stuffed animal. Just like any other stuffed animal. It's got tentacles. So that's our recap of week 30. I can't believe we're week 30. It's like we're 3/4 of the way done. God, can you believe it? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And definitely click that little bell if you want notifications of when we post our next video. And let's take a look at now how my bump is progressing. If you didn't see it already as I stood up and showed you all my baskets. Alright, so this is my belly for week 30, day 1 of week 31. And these shirts are almost getting a little too short at the bottom there. I can still stretch it though. Oh, it's getting so tight. Like right here. The belly button is just gonna explode off my body. Okay, let me see if I can suck. You think I can suck it? Oh. I'm done. We're done. We're done. We are done.